And we're live. We're here, guys. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It was my fault. We were late. As you can see, I have a little rash goatee mustache going on here. So I just, had to throw some Vaseline on there. I'm consistently having reactions on my face. I think if you go back to the Buccaneers reaction video, my face was literally swollen. I was editing the video and I was like, does my face look that swollen? And then I went to the dermatologist and they're like, yeah, you're having a reaction.
I was actually watching your throwing video that you made like a week ago, and you said in the video that you last year, I guess you got like poison ivy.
Oh, it was so bad.
So I was thinking maybe that's what it was. Today I'm like,
yeah. I asked my mom. I was like, "Do you think this is poison ivy on my face?" But they said the dermatologist said it's not. If anyone was curious about my medical history, but I'll tell you guys. That poison ivy was disgusting. I never posted a picture of it, but it was like a volcano on my leg, like golf ball size, like swollen with a hole oozing. So, literally, I'm a grinder out there. Like I said, Tom Brady played with a torn MCL, but I played with infected poison ivy.
It's more impressive what you did, I think.
So, I don't know. Am I as tough as Tom Brady? Maybe. But thank you so much, Chris, for joining me.
Of course. No, I appreciate
talking about myself and my medical history here. But I just want everyone to know, Chris was ready. It was my fault. But how's it going, Chris? How's your training camp going? Are you getting hype?
I can't wait for football season. I can't wait to go to FanFest, which is in 2 days. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. And yeah, hopefully I get to meet you. Actually doing a tailgate. I don't know what time you're gonna get there, but
I was thinking 3:30.
Oh, that's when we're doing it. Yeah,
is that a good time?
Yeah, Parking Lot G. We're gonna be doing the tailgate before.
So you and the Talking Giants guys, right?
Yeah. So should be a lot of fun.
Everyone show up to that.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you guys what's the tailgate gonna be like? Are you guys gonna be live streaming there?
I think Bobby and Justin told, because their channel's the one that set it up. So I think they said they're gonna pre-record. I don't think we're gonna be live, but yeah, they're gonna have 200 hamburgers, hot dogs.
Oh wow.
We're going to do a half-hour show. License plate guy's going to be there. I think some former Giants are going to be there, too. I'm not sure who. Eli's not going to be there. Don't get excited. But I think there's going to be I think there's going to be some small-time former Giants there. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. So everyone, follow Talking Giants, follow Chris and Atana on YouTube, Twitter, all that. So you can stay up to date about the tailgate. I mean, free food. Is it free?
Yeah, it's free. Yeah.
At the very least, guys, you will be getting free food.
So what did you think about the Saquon news today?
I was ecstatic. That's what I was going to get into. I mean, that was what I put in the little thumbnail.
Oh, did you? Okay, yeah.
Because, he's got a new helmet too. But how do you feel? Is Saquon going to be ready for week 1?
Yeah, I mean,
off the physically unable to perform list today. Practice. It wasn't a padded practice, I believe, but.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's still a major question mark in terms of whether or not he's going to play week 1, but I think it's trending that he is. If you would have asked me a week ago, I would have said no. Because you got the report from Rappaport. He said that it's trending towards week 3. And then today, Jordan Ronan basically said that the Giants haven't even ruled out the possibility of him playing in a preseason game. So that leads me to believe that I think he's going to be playing week 1. My guess is he'll probably be limited. I don't think he's going to get 25 touches week 1, especially being that we got a game on Thursday. So it's only a three-day rest.
My big concern was. Not concern, but the thing I thought made week 1 a question.
Yeah, so that's my line of thinking too. He's coming up such a serious injury. Are you going to throw him into the fire and then only have 3 days to recover for the Thursday night game? So I think he plays. I'm going to predict he plays. But it's only 6 or 7 touches week 1, and then they slowly bring him back.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of have to agree with you. I was kind of surprised when he came off the physically unable to perform list today. I thought maybe it was a little early. I don't know. It seemed like they were going to take it so slow with him and almost hold him back just because, I mean, I think it was you who pointed this out. We saw what happened his sophomore season when he had the ankle injury, and then he came back maybe a little too soon. And they probably don't want something like that to happen because we know Saquon obviously wants to be out there. But I think that big question is Thursday Night Football week 2. So like you said, I think they're definitely going to limit his snaps week 1, but I feel like he has to be out there. I mean, he doesn't have to be, but I feel like he is going to be. I'm just take it slow, but just having him out on the field is a threat.
I'm just so excited because I think back to his rookie season and how explosive he was and how much he means to this football team. And you saw it last year when he was out of the lineup. I mean, our offense was non-existent. I mean, teams knew
Yeah.
what we were going to do. We didn't have a big play threat, and him being out there just changes everything. Like, I feel like it gives the Giants fan base hope that he's like that X factor that could make this team go from a team kind of that's very mediocre to a team that maybe could actually win this division. Like, he's that type of piece.
I'm just going to go to the comments real quick. Harrison is saying, where is Hub? So it's Hub's mom's birthday. He should be here like maybe around 10 or something. I don't know. I just told everyone they can pop in, whatever. Like, I'm very chill. Like, whoever wants to pop in can pop in. What's going on? Man Cave TV. Valerie, I haven't seen you in a while. What's going on? Everyone who's in here. Joe. Nate talks football. What is going on, guys? Edward, Big Play Slay. I'm trying to get to all you guys. But yeah, I'm really interested, like not interested, but I'm curious. What's going on with like week 2 Thursday Night Football? Do the players like that because it's early in the season, so you don't have as much wear and tear on your body? Like, do you think that's the case? Like, I'm like Thursday Night Football week 2 is so weird, but I'm like, maybe it's a positive.
Yeah, I hate Thursday Night Football as a fan. Like, I don't mind it when the Giants aren't playing, whatever, but I hate when my team's on Thursday Night Football because
same.
I worry about injuries even more so because, like we said, only 3 days recovery time. It's usually sloppy football. Now, what I will say, like you said, you brought up a really good point. The fact that it's week 2, because you got to play Thursday Night Football no matter what. Every team has to play it. So the fact that it's week 2, from like an optimistic standpoint, like you said, we should be relatively healthy. And it's going to give us an extra 4 days the next week. I like getting it out of the way early. And also, I was talking about this in my stream today. I think that it's almost beneficial that we got Washington early. The reason being is Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's still learning these wide receivers. He's never played with these wide receivers. So in a way, I think that's a positive for us because he's only going to have one game under his belt throwing to these guys. Unfamiliarity. Maybe the Giants could take advantage of that week 2.
I also think it's the same situation with Denver. Like, we don't know who Denver's starting quarterback is going to be.
Yeah.
Is it going to be Teddy B or Drew Lock? Some people are saying it's going to be Teddy B. We don't know for sure. I feel like I underrate that Denver defense a lot, but do you think week 1 is a win?
I'm predicting a win, but you shouldn't underrate that Denver defense. That Denver defense is really like they might have the best secondary in the NFL.
It's just like you forget. Like I was like, I forgot until like recently. I was like, well, this might not be like an easy win.
I don't think it's an easy win, but it's a game I think we have to win. Like, I'm like, it's like if we want to win this division, if we want to make the playoffs, we got to win that game. I mean, they're traveling across the country. I think we're at least even with them in terms of talent. The fact we're at home, and when you look at it, Lauren, and you know this, over like the last like 10 years, it seems like every year, week 1, we get screwed.
It's an L.
It's on the road. We've only won one opening game in the last 10 years, but I think a lot of that has to do with the fact the teams we play. Like, we always play at Dallas, or I remember we played Jacksonville the year they were coming off the AFC title. Like, I feel like we always get a really tough opponent. And this year, while I'm not downplaying Denver, it's one of our more winnable games on the schedule. So
definitely more winnable than, going into Kansas City or going into Kansas City,
Yeah, so I'm like, week 1, I feel like this is the year that we have to get off to that good start.
Me too. I mean, I always get I don't know about you, but I get so nervous before the week 1 game, especially last year because it was on Monday Night Football. I was literally tracking my heart rate on my Apple Watch, and it was like so hot. I was sweating. I was like, and then of course they lose, and I'm like, like I just need a win. And the good thing is, if the Giants win week 1 and then win week 2, they will be the best team in the NFL because they play on Thursday Night Football. So we can celebrate the Giants being the best overall team, the only team with a 2-0 record for like 3 days.
I didn't think about that.
So there's a lot. There's a lot on the table week 1 and week 2 because they can be the best team in the NFL.
And I'm gonna tell you what, week 3, if that were to happen, your fantasy scenario, which I hope does, I think we're gonna win. I think we're gonna beat Atlanta. Atlanta doesn't scare me. They got rid of Julio Jones. They got no defense. So in your fantasy scenario, I think we're getting off the 3-0 because I think we're going to beat Atlanta. Kid Blues in the chat.
What's going
KB,
on? What's going on,
What's
guys?
up, KB?
running back, YouTuber.
What's going on, guys? Glad to be here.
So, KB, we're talking about the start of the season. Do you think week 1 and week 2 is a win to make the Giants the best overall team
I
in the
would,
NFL possibly?
I would, I really want that situation. Like, I don't know. Every time I look at the schedule, I always like to pencil it in, but it's so rare that the Giants get off to a great start like that. Because how many times have we even won a week 1 game? It hasn't
That's what Chris
happened.
was just saying.
It hasn't happened in a while since 2016, right? And that's when we went
Once since 2010. It was 2016.
That's insane. So it's like I want to believe we can, because Denver, if you look at Denver on paper, they're actually pretty similar to the Giants, especially strength at defense and kind of a question mark with some good pieces on offense. But as far as the week 1 game by itself, it just seems a little difficult. But I want to believe we're gonna get this win. But the only problem is Saquon gonna be there? I don't want to like put everything on Saquon. I'm not gonna say he is the win or loss in the situation, but it definitely helps that he's there and if he's actually effective. So if Saquon could come back at full strength, I mean he's back at practice today. If he could come back at full strength in week 1, I believe it's a significant advantage that we win the game. But if we don't, obviously we have a lesser chance, but I think we could still pull it off.
That's what we were just talking about before, KB. So do you think Saquon plays week 1?
Man, it's such a crapshoot at this point, man. You never know with these type of injuries, and especially with the type of player that he is. Obviously, these generational players, sometimes they have great comebacks when it comes to this, but it's so hard to predict. I want to say, since he's back at practice, that he may play week 1. He's back at practice already. I don't think he'll probably play any of the preseason games. I don't think there's a reason to. So he'll have a chance to get to full strength before week 1. Maybe we get, hopefully he gets a month of good practicing and say, hey, maybe you could play week 1. If they don't, you won't see me crying. You won't see me complaining about it. If they don't, then they don't. But if they do, I expect them to be at least 3/4 about what he is, you know what I'm saying? So that'll give us a really good chance of winning. But I mean, if he's going to be out there and he's just going to not look the same, and look how he did against the Jets 2 years ago when we went to that game, where you can tell he just wasn't at full strength, that he should not have played. If he's going to be like that, don't play him at all. I'd rather him be effective rather than him just be there, So it's up in the air. I want to say he does play just because he's at practice already. I don't know. Was he limited at practice? Does anybody know?
I mean, it wasn't a padded practice today, so it was to me. At least from the highlight videos that I saw, it almost looked like a run through. Okay. I don't know, man. I based on what Judge said, I think he's going to be 100% week 1, but I don't think he's going to get a ton of touches. I think they're going to ease him back,
and that's I think that is the right way to do it. Even if you have the utmost confidence that he is back at full strength, 100% ready, I don't think you should give him the full workload. Definitely, they said it already. They like Devontae Booker. They're going to have another use for him. They can have more of a role for him. Hopefully, it's more than what it was for Wayne Gallman before he got his I guess couple games of fame last year, right? But yeah, I hope they utilize the running backs more other than just Saquon.
What's up, Charles Barkley? But I think just like you saw it even last year in the Steelers game, even when, and obviously I don't want him out there if he's not 100%, but even when Barkley's not super effective, which he was not in the Steelers game, and he certainly wasn't when we went to the Jets game, and he was not 100% in that game, he still opens up the passing game. Like Daniel Jones' most yards he threw for last year was that Steelers game, and I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that it was the only game that Barkley played start to finish. Yeah. Just him in the backfield, that threat opens everything up. And even if he's only out there for 10 plays in terms of touches week 1, that'll do a ton for this offense.
And I think, wasn't that touchdown to Slayton, like in that first game, off a play action pass or something?
Yeah, it was like a 50-yard bomb off the play action.
It was like a beautiful, and we got so excited for Daniel Jones at that point. I don't know, or at least I did. And I was like, let's go, like sophomore season MVP. No,
that was his best throw of the year, probably.
I wasn't that excited, but it was a beautiful throw, and you're like, Danny Dimes, let's go. But what do you guys think? Do you guys are you guys a little worried about like what happened in the Steelers game and just early in the season? Even though he barely played last season, does that like linger in your head at all? Or you're just like that was just, against a very good Steelers defensive line. They played the Bears that game. Does that just like linger in your head at all? Or you're like, no, like this is Saquon after, not playing in so long. He obviously rehabbed really well. Like everyone's saying he's doing excellent. Do you just think, okay, like rookie Saquon is back or like second year Saquon is back?
What do you mean? His performance in the Steelers game, does that worry me?
Yeah, does that worry you at all?
The Steelers game, he had no chance. I remember watching that game, and he was literally getting hit as soon as he touched the ball 5 yards in the backfield every time.
Yeah.
So to me, that had a lot more to do with the fact that it was a brand new offensive line that didn't have a preseason to play together. You had 3 new offensive linemen. Gates had never played center before. You had a rookie left tackle. Like, it was a mess the first 5-6 weeks of the year, and then we started to get it together. But of course, he was hurt at that time. So I think that was Barkley was good to go against that Steelers team. It's just, I mean, you could have put Barry Sanders back. You didn't matter in that game.
Right.
You had no chance. He couldn't get a running start. It was embarrassing in terms of the way the offense ran block in that game.
Yeah, of course, I mean, it still lingers in the back of my mind. Are we going to get off the same start we did last year? Just because the last time we saw Saquon, that was where the offensive line was. But I definitely think it's not going to be as bad. Remember, that Steelers defense was so good towards the whole year there were, so we didn't think
especially the first half of the year.
Right. And so we were pretty much the first team to play this really good Steelers defense. What everybody thought was a regular good Steelers defense was one of the best in the NFL last season, especially stopping the run as well. So when it comes to Saquon and his new offensive line, I don't really have a problem with Saquon as much as I do the offensive line. Are they ready to block for Saquon as he's dancing in the backfield? I know a lot of people are worried about that as well, because he does have this thing where he likes to wait it out in the backfield, dance a little bit, try to get the home run type of run. And is this offensive line really that ready for that? Because I know Wayne Gallman danced a little bit, but I know Wayne Gallman would still hit the hole, and he would still he knows his assignment, and he doesn't really go off of that. But Saquon is just another player, so he kind of creates his own thing. I hope the offensive line is ready for that. But yeah, it still lingers in my mind a little bit if this offensive line and Saquon are going to gel, but I'm not really as worried about it.
So you're not as worried about like the interior of this defensive line. I've seen like some tweets out of camp, like, at times the interior of this line has struggled.
Yeah.
Are you guys nervous about that?
I am.
That's my biggest concern. Because the offensive line, then we're all screwed. Like,
listen, I'm not worried about the interior offensive line when it comes to run blocking, because in my opinion, Nick Gates is nasty. We'll say what we want about Will Hernandez. He's still a decent run blocker. And when it comes, and Shane Lemieux is a really good run blocker. It's just the pass blocking.
Yeah.
Can we get guys to just hold on for 3 to 4 seconds, man? Please. Instead of right off, like Shane Lemieux, man, especially when I watch film on the Giants offense, Shane Lemieux was constantly just getting beat over and over again as soon as the ball was snapped. And it really put the Giants and Daniel Jones at a disadvantage. If they could just fix that up, be an average interior offensive line, and I think it'll be
just
okay.
Don't be the worst.
Like that's how bad it was in pass blocking. Like, I don't even care if you're great, just be good, just be decent. And I think Daniel Jones could get something going. He's really he tends to be pretty good under pressure. I know some people may debate that, being that he likes to fumble the ball and such and not hang on to the ball. But if you look at Daniel Jones, he's very poised, calm and collected. He's not really anxious. If you can just give him 3 to 4 seconds to throw, I mean, he's gonna do it. Allow these wide receivers to run their routes and get these play designs going. If you want to run some sort of flood concept or some sort of mesh concept or whatever, some of those concepts take a while to develop. You gotta wait it out, and that offensive line needs to give Daniel Jones time.
Chris, what are your concerns with this offensive line? And and a follow-up I'll just throw out there too. Do you guys think they're going to make any additions to this offensive line?
Yeah, okay. I'll start with that, I guess, and then I'll go into what I feel about the offensive line. I've been pounding the table for Austin Reiter, or Reader, however it's pronounced, since like May. And I thought it was a guy that the New York Giants should look at. But the further it's gone along, the more I think it's just not going to happen. It's not realistic because I think that's a guy that's looking for a starting job in the NFL. And I don't think the New York Giants are going to guarantee him that. I think they want to go with the youngsters. I don't think he's a guy that wants to come in here and sit behind and be on the bench. And I think he's probably kind of scoping it out and waiting until there's a starting opportunity, maybe an injury in camp somewhere, whatever it may be. As far as the Giants go in terms of bringing somebody in, I think you're going to see it. I think they're going to add at least a decent guy off the bench that could help if somebody goes down. But I think I think they will, but I think they're going to wait until cuts start to happen around the league. And then I think you'll be able to bring in somebody at least with some notoriety. As far as the offensive line goes for the Giants right now, I'm not going to say it's going to here's what I'm going to say. The Giants offensive line since like 2010 has been horrific. Maybe they've had like 1 year where they were mediocre, like Justin Pugh, whatever, but overall it's been horrendous. Now, the one thing I will say from like a positive standpoint, last year, the first like 7 or 8 games last year, not only were they the worst offensive line in football, like the 31st best was like much better. Like they were that bad. And then, and I feel like people like look at the rankings, they're like, oh, they were the 31st ranked offensive line last year by PFF. However, what I will say over the last 8, they were not that bad. They were more like 22, 23 in that range. And they were definitely starting to show signs of growth. But you lose Kevin Zeitler, and now you're putting a lot of pressure on Shane Lemieux. Hernandez now playing on the right side. He's never played there before. Now you got Matt Parrott on the right tackle. Who knows there? We like him. We hope he can be really good, but he's unproven. We don't know. He's got upside. Thomas, I'm confident. I think Thomas can be really good this year.
Yes, sir.
And I think Gates will be solid. I think Giant fans tend to overrate Nick Gates a little bit, if I'm being honest, but I think he's a solid offensive lineman in the NFL, and he's definitely the leader of that offensive line. Overall, I definitely have my worries. I'm not going to lie about it. I think that is
fair, very fair.
That is the unit that is going to decide whether or not the Giants make the playoffs this year.
Exactly. Facts,
exactly. I've been saying that. A lot of people are like going on and on about the wide receivers. I loved all the additions we made. Trust me, don't get me wrong. I love and I love the potential of this team, but none of it is going to matter if, like I said earlier, if the offensive line doesn't allow these wide receivers to run their routes. What was a big problem? Honestly, I don't even think Jason Garrett was as bad as he was bad. He was bad, but I don't think it was.
He's like, hold on, let me not.
I don't think it was all under. I don't think it was all under him. Like it was under his mindset. I think he literally created, these comeback routes, these curl routes, because this offensive line was not proven. This offensive line was not able to allow these wide receivers to get downfield, and it was causing Daniel Jones a lot of grief, man. It was causing Daniel Jones to fumble the ball. It's causing Daniel Jones to run for his life, and so he was pretty much forced to get guys like Sterling Shepard, who's a route running god, to just run a curl route and come back to the football, because it was like playing flag football. You're
speaking facts, Kidbull, and I love to hear it because there's 80% of the New York Giants fan base that thinks that Jason Garrett is the cause of COVID. Like they think that guy could do nothing right, and he is completely to blame for everything.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, I don't love Jason Garrett. I don't think he's McVay. I don't think he's like the greatest play caller in the league. But the guy's a track record. The guy has proven in the league that when he has the proper support system, he could run a good offense. Okay, the Dallas Cowboys had a top 5 offense like 4 years where he was.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Let's remember that Jason Garrett ran a good offense there in Dallas. Nobody can tell me that offense that we saw last year with the Giants was one that we saw for years with Dallas. It's not the same at all. It's because of the personnel was different, and obviously Jason Garrett. I do blame Jason Garrett a bit for not having enough confident in these players towards the end of the season. I just wanted him to kind of open things up a little bit instead of trying these trick plays and sweeps with Evan Ingram. Why don't you try just some more concepts to get some players open? But he kept it conservative. I don't know if that was a team decision by the coaching staff to say, hey, let's just play conservative. But I definitely think this year Jason Garrett will be a new coordinator and not.
Because he's going to have the ability to be.
Yeah, right. And I think he's going to have more trust as well.
Yeah. I just want to say real quick, shout out to Cody here, because Cody hooked me up with FanFest tickets. I wasn't able to get them at first.
Nice.
So Cody just sent them to me, and I have to give a huge shout out to him. He was so nice about it. He was just like, yeah, sure, I have extra here. Just send them to me.
That is awesome.
So, like, literally one of the nicest things someone has done for me on like the the internet. So I appreciate it, Cody. I really do. Like, so I didn't even think it was real at first. I was like, wow. See,
That's
there are
awesome.
good people on the internet, not just cyberbullies. He also said this about you, Titlo.
Yeah, I don't know what it was on Wednesday. The connection was terrible. I blame Kush because I looked fine on my computer. All right, so I blame him. But yeah, it's good today. It's good today.
My thing with the offensive line is this. Daniel Jones plays like this offensive line is so good, I feel like. Because
right.
everyone was saying in the beginning, like during his rookie season, he has no fear in the pocket. But then he has no fear, but this dude is playing like, he's playing behind one of the best offensive lines. And I just think that's a great trait to have, right? To be fearless. So if this offensive line can just do a little more, just, like you said, give him like 3-4 seconds, then we can maybe finally see DJ throw the ball down the field, which we know he's good at. Like, we know he's great at throwing these deep passes with Kenny Golladay on this team. The offensive line just needs to give him just a little time, and I think we could just see a huge improvement in DJ. But it really comes down to that offensive line. And I just want to say a thank you to Joseph Clark for the super chat. What a crew tonight. Let's go Giants. Thank you, Joseph.
What's up, Joe?
The Danny Dimes profile picture with the blue glowing eyes.
Yeah, that's a really cool profile picture, man.
I think the glass half full approach. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
I think the glass half full approach with this offensive line, like if I'm trying to think positive, and trust me, I was all about the line. If I was Gettleman, I would have drafted Rashawn Slater. I wouldn't have traded down. I would have taken a lineman. That's what I would have done. Even
Chargers,
if Devontae,
let's just say the Chargers did great in that draft, protecting Justin Herbert, like getting Slater without trading. Like
it was a great pick.
That was a great for the Chargers.
Yeah. So if it was me, that's what I would have done. But that being said, a glass half full approach, if you're trying to be an optimistic fan and think that they're right about not addressing the offensive line this offseason, one is continuity, bring everybody back. If you look over the last 7, 8, 9, 10 years of the Giants offensive line, I think I did a video on this. I think there was only the most they ever brought back that played the same position on a year-to-year basis was 3 over the last 10 years. This year, you're bringing everybody back for the most part, playing in the same position they were last year. So there's continuity. But I think the biggest thing that could help this offensive line, we don't know about the offensive line coach, so I'm not even going to speak on Rob Sale, but the added weapons, it makes the offense less predictable. You now have legitimate weapons on the outside. Right. Last year, you look at the Baltimore Ravens game, the Cardinals game, they were just sending the house every play. Now you got Kenny Golladay. Now you got a quick hitter with Kadarius Toney that could create quick separation. And now, of course, you got Saquon Barkley back in the backfield, which changes the dynamic of this offense. So that you have to hope as a Giants fan is going to alleviate some of the pressure from the offensive line.
Agreed.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I just think the offense has the chance to be so much more creative this year and actually do fun stuff. So let's just hope they do that. I mean, I just want to watch a fun offense, really. I'm just so sick of 10-yard routes. That's not fun.
Right. And let me tell you, man, a real unsung hero I think is gonna arise this season is Matt Parrott, man. I've been pounding. You guys know that guy. You know that I've been pounding on the table for this guy to start since last year. But it is what it is. He didn't get too much of an opportunity. He got some reps, but now that he's actually, I guess right now, as far as we know, he is the starting right tackle, right? I mean, I know there's probably some controversy with Solder there, but I guess he's the right tackle, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
He's taking starting reps. So now that he's actually able to get this chance, I mean, I know a lot of people say, oh, well, we don't have a big sample size of Matt Parrott, but if you look at the sample size that we do have of Matt Parrott, I mean, it's pretty damn good, right? It's especially when he first was able to get an opportunity. I believe it was against the Rams. Was it against the Rams or that first Washington game?
It was early in the year. I can't remember what it was against.
My most notable one was against the Rams, and he just instantly made that offensive line better, especially on the right side. And so, and I think he played. His first action was against the Washington football team on the left side when he started because Andrew Thomas disciplinary things or whatever.
That's right. In the first quarter. Yeah.
Right. And it was like Andrew Thomas never left, man. I'm telling you, this right tackle spot.
At that point, it was like Andrew Thomas did leave because he was playing bad.
Right. He was playing bad. But I mean, I really think Matt Peart is going to get off to a really good start. I think he had a solid rookie season to learn. He had opportunities where he wasn't really put under too much pressure. He wasn't thrown into the fire. He was able to get some experience without really the heavy pressure. And so we'll see what we get from him. But man, I have a really good feeling about Matt Peart, man. I'm telling you.
I hope you're right, KB. I really do.
He's not really my worry. It's more Lemieux.
It's more Lemieux.
It's the interior part of the offensive line.
In pass protection specifically too.
Right.
So Brian asked, what about the defensive line? What do you guys think about the defensive line? I think that's an area I'm way less concerned about than the offensive line. Like, defensive line, you guys are great, like A+. Like,
in no such way am I worried about the defensive line. I know the us losing Dalvin Tomlinson is a big loss there. It's definitely a loss there. He was one of the best run stuffers in the league, no doubt about it. He got paid, and deservingly so. But filling in with Danny Shelton there, Austin Johnson back him up as well, I think we'll be just fine. Will we see probably a little bit less of production in the middle? Probably, but I don't think it's going to be too much of a drop off. I know a lot of people have super high expectation for Leonard Williams. Maybe people think that, he's just a beast. He's on the move and he's going to get more sacks than he did last year. I'm not going to go that far, but I'm not saying that will be a bad thing. I think if he gets 8 or 9 sacks, I'm expecting 8 or 9 sacks from him. I think he'll be that's just fine for Leonard Williams. So I think there'll be a little bit of a drop off, not so much that we should be concerned about. And as far as depth goes for this defensive line, I'm not concerned at all. I mean, guys like B.J. Hill, Ifedi Odenigbo, he's going to be playing sort of a tweener role. A little bit of hybrid role. And then, we still have R.J. McIntosh, so we still have him in our back pocket. So, I mean, we've got depth. We definitely have depth. So I'm not really concerned about the defensive line.
Yeah, and we also signed what's his name, the big nose tackle from
from the Browns. Shoot, what's his name? I know Danny Shelton, right?
Yeah, Shelton. Yeah,
Danny Shelton. Yeah, I said it.
Yeah. Oh, you said him. Okay.
He's bigger than Dexter.
Yeah. He's probably going to be our starting nose.
He's going to be the primary nose, especially in rundown situations. But I'm not really concerned with this defensive line, like you said. Obviously, Dalvin Tomlinson. Yeah, he was a captain of the team. He was really good. I always said it. He was one of the more underrated players on the team even before last year when I felt like not enough people talked about him, but he's replaceable. It's one of the more replaceable positions on a football team. It's why the Giants let him go. Mm-hmm. Like you said, I'm not going to set crazy expectations for Leonard Williams. I know the guy got paid. I know fans are going to say, he's got to get 12 sacks. He's making X amount of dollars. No, that's not the way it works. Leonard Williams' primary job really is to create interior pressure to allow guys on the outside to get sacks. Exactly. So if he gets 5 or 6 sacks, but does that for the guys on the outside and Ojulari's having a big year and so on and so forth, I just care about how the defense does as a whole. And I think Leonard Williams has a lot to do with it. But our defensive line, man, I think it's pretty deep. I think B.J. Hill in a more expanded role could do a good job. Ifedi Odenigbo is a guy that could play all over. Obviously, Dexter Lawrence, I think, could have a massive leap this year.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. I love him. He's one of my favorite players on this team. Dexy. Big Dexy.
The thing I'm most excited about, though, I'm going to tell you guys right now on the defense, secondary.
Oh,
I mean,
NYPD 2.0, baby.
With the addition of Dory Jackson, it is going to make I think we're going to get so much more pressure on the quarterback because our coverage, I think, is going to be so much better this year.
And not only that, I think we're actually going to find a gem, like a gem in Rodarius Williams. He's making he's turning some heads there in practice right now. I'm not going to say this guy's going to start and he's going to be the best thing to ever happen, but it helps our depth a lot. If there were some sort of injury to happen, it's just like how the safety situation is right now. There's so much safety. We don't even know what to do with all of these guys, right? It's the same thing with the corner spot. I mean, having James Bradbury and Adoree Jackson there is great as the number 1 and number 2. We have what seems to be 2 good nickel corners in Darnay Holmes and Aaron Robinson. And then you've got you still have Isaac Yiadom as well, who was our number 2 last year. You're basically making him a number 5 guy. Yeah. And then Rodarius Williams, I mean, it's stacked as far as corners go. And it's the fact that Rodarius Williams is doing well in first team defense on 11-on-11 and holding his own is great. Now, I will slow down a little bit because I know Corey Ballentine, same thing with him. I mean, he's almost having the same storyline right now.
But the difference is we actually have good corners and we don't have to throw him into the fire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited about the secondary. I'm glad that you mentioned it, man, because this secondary went from something that we should have been concerned about going into free agency in the draft to something that I'm probably the most confident in.
It's our strongest unit. It's our strongest unit.
And that is crazy to say with how
think
it
of the
was last
beginning
year.
of last season,
Right.
like how far the secondary has
When
come.
you think about this, because you just brought up Ballantyne, when you think about this defense, what Dave Gettleman did just for the defense, we could definitely have our arguments about what he did on the offensive line because we haven't seen much growth there and everything else. Just the defense over the last 2 years, you're talking about having guys like Bethea and guys like Corey Ballantyne were in our starting lineup.
Kareem Martin.
In 2019, Kareem Martin, Alec Ogletree. And you flip that to what we got now. Where's the weakness on this defense? I mean, we're
BW Webb.
BW Webb. We're stacked at both exterior corners. We got, I think Darnay Holmes is an emerging slot corner. Aaron Robinson is a guy also that I think is going to compete with him throughout the season who looks like a talented young player. Middle linebacker Martinez was a stud last year. Definitely a secondable. The second guy's questionable. Tate Crowder, whoever it may be. But then the safeties and the corners, it is lockdown. And the defensive line is really good. So, and Leonard Williams, obviously that trade ended up looking really good for Gettleman as well. The defense this year, and when you look at the quarterbacks we're going against, have you guys looked at the quarterbacks we're going up against this year?
They're not outstanding.
They're far from it. I mean, outside of Pat Mahomes and Tom Brady, who are great, and Dak.
Pat Mahomes and Tom Brady really push the scale up.
You're looking at Winston. You're looking at Darnold. You're looking at Hurts twice. You're looking at Fitzpatrick twice. You're looking at the rookie Fields over in Chicago. You're looking at
either Teddy B or Drew Lock.
Yeah, either Teddy B or Drew Lock. And there's a couple others that are Tua. Yeah, so
I mean, they do have to play Justin Herbert, which I am nervous about.
New scheme, maybe, I don't know, but you're right. He's really good. But I think our defense is going to do really good this year, and that should only help the offense.
I really want to face. I can't wait to face Jalen Hurts. Oh, I can't wait.
You gotta hope, I mean, we saw this so much last year though, where it's the defense would get an interception and bring it really close to the red zone, and then it'd just be field goal. But I hope that doesn't happen because Kenny Golladay is on this team now. It's a different offense.
Yeah, we got some
year 2 in an offensive scheme.
Yeah, and we have the weapons to get it done. Some people are in the chat are mentioning Sam Beal. Yeah, we remember Sam Beal. We thought he was gonna be our savior in the secondary, man.
Not Gettleman's proudest moment there.
How times have changed, man. And one thing I will commend Gettleman for. I mean, people call me an apologist for him all the time, and I just embrace it at this point. But I have acknowledged his mistakes.
Oh wait, I have to tell you guys something after, but keep going, KB. I just remembered it. I meant to tell you this earlier.
I have acknowledged his mistakes. Early on in his tenure with us. We don't need to get into that, but the Sam Beal thing. I mean, you look at how Dave Gettleman has grown as a GM as well. He started taking little bit of kind of questionable moves when he first became the GM, and now it's just he's converting people who hate him into people that love him. I mean, you look at all over Twitter right now; they're loving everything he's doing, and he's shaping things up in free agency that made people happy. I know people said that was his weakness, and that he was just more of a drafting GM, and now it just seems like he's more balanced. Now it just seems like he's actually shaping up to be one of the better GMs in the league right now, and only this season will kind of prove that. But listen, Dave Gettleman is doing a good job, and I listen, guys. I know back a couple years ago, people were like, "You're crazy for defending this guy." I love Gettleman too, so
right? I know. I don't know if love is the right word, but I definitely like him a lot more than most Giants.
Right,
I support him.
And it's fine. It's satisfying that it's finally coming to fruition. I know the record isn't there yet. Obviously, he hadn't had anything close to a winning record since he's been here. But if you look at where the team is at now from when he took over the team in 2017, I mean, it's just completely different. I mean, took over the team in 2018. I'm sorry. It's just completely different. And so I finally, we may get some Dave Gettleman love in here, man. Finally.
I feel like we're watching a movie. Right? 2018, 2018, like you said, I throw out the door. That was a mistake. It was a complete disaster.
That was a mistake. And they acknowledged it too. That was one thing they did too. They acknowledged that they made a mistake. 2019
is the beginning of a trilogy. And I feel like this year I'm gonna get to find out if this movie is a complete flop or if I'm like, wow, I hope they make a fourth one of this. this year is the year like where we're gonna actually get to see if Dave Gettleman's master plan worked out. Like Daniel Jones, it's on the line. Daniel Jones, Joe Judge, did the offensive line mature and get better? Because I'm gonna tell you what, I like Dave Gettleman. I like a lot of the things he's done. This was Mr. Hogmolly. This was Mr. Offensive line when he took the job. I'm gonna tell you what, right now, if this offensive line sucks this year, I'm gonna be all over Dave Gettleman. Okay, because he had every opportunity this offseason to try to make this a more improved offensive line. He didn't do it. So
and in the draft, so many opportunities.
So I'm going to be a harsh critic of Gettleman if this offensive line sucks again, but I'm going to give him the opportunity. I'm going to see what this team could do this year. But I'm excited. I mean, I'm just excited to go into a season with actual expectations and getting to find out how this movie's going to end. Like, I'm excited to see if Gettleman ends up looking good or really bad, and we're going to find out this year.
Yep.
Well, I hope it's good.
Oh, we all do. I
hope it's good, guys. Real quick, I meant to text Kid Blue this, but I'm going to share it on here. When you said you're a Dave Gettleman apologist, this sparked this in my head. So last week, I was on Kid Blue's podcast with the Hub on here. And I was basically saying how I'm like, now I just decided I am now an Evan Ingram defender because everyone's thinking something. Let me just take the stance of a defender because like everyone's hating. So like, I don't think he's going to be as bad as he was last year. So I think it's like cool of me to defend him because he hopefully won't be as bad as he was last year. And then I could be like, yeah, guys, you see? So I think it's just really funny because I went to bed after that and I had a dream. I was at Giants Fan Fest and like the fans had to like pick a team. Like you were there with the players and you had to like quarterback the team.
Mm-hmm.
And I was standing there and I was like, Evan, like, please, like, come on my team. Like, I'm like your defender. Like, come here, Evan.
Wait.
Picking him for their team.
You had the first pick and you took Evan Ingram?
I don't know if I had the first pick. It was like a little blurry, but like no one was
a little blurry.
I was like, Evan, I'm like your biggest defender. Like, come here. So I'm literally having dreams about the Giants and talking to Kid Blue and Hub, and it's transferring over to my dreams. So I just wanted to share that.
Hey, hey, Evan Ingram needs people like you because he doesn't have a lot of people in his corner right now. So
I'm gonna tell you what,
go Evan.
He fools me every year.
I know.
Last year, I said that Evan Ingram was going to have a breakout year. I thought that the Garrett offense, I thought that he would be pelleted with targets, and he was. He just didn't catch him. This year, my brain is telling me Evan Ingram's going to do really well. That's what my brain is telling me.
Welcome to the club. Let's go.
That's what my brain is telling
brought you in. She automatically brought you in.
Now my heart is now my heart.
Like I love
my heart though is telling. Like, don't listen to your brain, guys. Don't listen to your brain, Chris. Because last year, obviously, it was a disaster. This year, though, you look at the complexion of this team, guys. Who's going to defend this guy? Because you've got all these all these great wide receivers now. That should open up the field for Evan Ingram. Not to mention it's a contract year. Right, so he has more of an incentive to really go out there and produce. So my brain is telling me Evan Ingram should feast this year, but I've been tricked so many times, guys. It's tough for me to believe in Evan Ingram.
Okay. One thing I will say is that, man, just to Chris's point, man, Evan Ingram every single training camp is like the highlight reel. Evan Ingram in every single training camp, he's the highlight reel. He's, every time you watch the highlights for training camp, Evan Ingram's making these crazy catches in the seam, these one-handed catches over the defender, whatever the case may be. And we're like, damn, Evan Ingram is going to break out this season. Oh my God, he's looking really good. Maybe he's actually shaping up. It's the same thing every year. In fact, it got worse last year. So although I will keep a positive attitude about Evan Ingram, it's like I'll believe it when I see it. So I'll believe it when I see it. Because it was the same thing with Eric Flowers when he was drafted. Every single year, everybody was ready to give this guy another chance to try to be that franchise left tackle. And every single season, you saw in training camp these beat writers saying Eric Flowers looks stronger than ever. He looks great. His footwork is looking better than ever. All this and that, and you guys know the story with Eric Flowers. So it just seems like in training camp, the worst players look the best, and then you translate it to the regular season, and they're just like the same player. So although I'm not saying Evan Ingram is Eric Flowers, I will say, like I said, I'll believe it when I see it. So
come on, Eric Flowers never made the Pro Bowl.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely
Don't
right.
disrespect Evan like that.
And
Pro
I hope
Bowler Evan Ingram.
that was probably the easiest bonus Evan Ingram ever got in his career, in his life. That's probably the easiest bonus he's ever gotten, because you get a bonus for the Pro Bowl. He's like, oh damn, free money, let's go.
I keep saying this, but I do feel like it was the case. I think Evan Ingram just got in his head last year because he was
overwhelmed.
So many of those easy catches, but then he was making those miraculous catches.
Yeah, he was making crazy catches.
Like, well, I have nothing to lose if I don't catch this, because this is going to be a difficult catch, and then he comes down with it. But I just think, like, I don't think we put enough emphasis on how much, players can sometimes get in their own head. Like, going across the middle, defender's there, the ball pops off his hands, and it's an interception. Like, how many interceptions did he cause just from, like, the defender being right there and the ball popping out of his hand?
More than I can count on one hand, that's for sure.
That has to get in your head, like, just feeling like, oh my God, like, I gotta catch this or it might be another interception.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think a lot of his problems last year were mental. And I guess my positive thinking this year is that he's got no pressure. Like, there's no expectations from the majority of the fan base this year. Mm-hmm. He's gone from being the first guy in the passing game to like the fourth. Right. So it's like, I don't know. Like, I feel like he's going to get better opportunities this year, and that's what my brain's telling me. It's like there's no pressure. He has more of an incentive to perform this year, being that he's going to be a free agent. I think he's going to have a really good year, but
Let's go, Chris.
But I can't say. I struggle to say it because I know.
But you have nothing to lose if he doesn't have a good season.
It's true. It's true. Good point. But I really do feel he's going to have a good year this year for the Giants.
Hub is here. Hub, you literally did not have to do this. Like, this is silly, Hub. There's no reason to do this. Hub says, this is all my bad, guys. I straight up forgot my mom's birthday. Hub, don't say that on here. Was the same night as this. LOL. Of course, if I get home in the next 30 minutes, I'll see if I can pop in. But here you go for the fam and mistake. Hub, you didn't have to do that. Like, your mom's birthday is obviously more important than this.
Here's the thing, Hub.
I don't think so, Lauren.
Yeah, here's the thing, Kush. How could you forget your mom's birthday? How could you forget your mom's birthday, Kush?
He texted that to me on Twitter, and I was like, oh, like, you don't have to admit it. And then he puts it on here. I straight up forgot my mom's birthday.
I don't forgive you. I don't forgive you.
Go spend time with your mom. It's okay. There'll be many more streams.
What's up, Hub? Say happy birthday to your mom.
Happy birthday, Mother Hub.
Yes, Mother Hub.
Mother Hub. So, guys, I want to ask, how many wins do you think this team is getting?
Okay. I did a season predictor. And what's up, Jarvis Juice? I see him in here. Max Webster's in here too. Two good subscribers of mine. I did a season predictor yesterday that I was bored, and I'm like, you know what? Let me just do it. Let me see what I think every team in the NFL is going to do. And after predicting every single game, I had the Giants going 10-7. And I've been telling people on my channel I think 9-8, but I had them 10-7. I think they're going to be between 8 and 10 wins. And I think if everything broke right, and it won't because it never does, but if we stay nearly completely healthy and Jones breaks out, if you want to be a pie in the sky thinker, 12 wins is possible. Like if Jones took that Carson Wentz-like leap. But going into the year, I think 9 wins. That's where I have them. But after looking at their schedule, I had them at 10. So 9 or 10 wins. That's where I got the Giants.
Yeah. When I did my first, I didn't make a video on it yet, but I did this a couple of times live, and I would always get around 9, 10, and even 11, just as like a ceiling. 11, I don't expect that at all from this team. But I think it's possible just because of not how great the team is, because obviously they're unproven. But I think of the competition we're going against. We may just look a little better than we actually are in certain games. I feel like the schedule is pretty good in our favor. So I'm definitely with Chris around that 10 10-win mark, I think, is the expectation for this team right now. If they were to get 9, I'll be completely fine with. But 8, I don't think. Listen, man, this team looks that good to be, better than an 8-win team, in my opinion. If they get 8, then I guess it's progress. But you won't see they get them in here much longer if they keep making these small strides. So they've got to show something this year, in my opinion. They got to go all out this season. But yeah, I struggle with the whole NFC East in general, like predicting the wins in the NFC East, because obviously Washington isn't, the punching bag that we usually see them as every single season.
But they have a kind of tough schedule too.
Yeah, they have a tough schedule.
Washington's schedule. I'm gonna tell you the records that I had real quick. I had, and this is just quick: win-loss. I had the Giants at 10-7. I had the Cowboys at 9-8. I had Washington at 7-10, and I had the Eagles at 4-13. Because when I did the Washington schedule, like you just said, the Washington schedule, even though I respect them a lot as a football team, the Washington schedule is brutal.
It's way tougher than ours. I'll just say that.
I have to take a look at it. I remember looking at it because we did it live, but I cannot remember off the top of my head. But I believe you guys.
Especially early on, it is brutal. So we'll see, but I don't know, man. I look at the Giants. All right, let's do it real quick. Look at the Giants schedule. Atlanta should be a win. Like, that's a game we should win, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Denver should be a win, in my opinion. 4-2 in the division, I think, is realistic. We did it last year.
Yeah, I had it going 4-2.
So you're at 6 wins already, okay? And then I look at the rest of our schedule. I think we should beat the Raiders at home. The Raiders lost like their entire offensive line. I think their team is weak. So, okay, now I'm at 7 wins. I look at Carolina, home. Carolina. I think that's a very winnable game.
That's a dub.
That's 8. And then I look around the rest of the schedule. At Miami, I think we could win it. I don't think
I have that as a win, honestly. That's
I think we could win that game.
I had it as a loss just because I feel like this Giants team is so similar to this Miami team, and I feel like we're kind of not. I know we are our own team, but I feel like we've been following their footsteps a little bit. I think they're a little bit ahead of us, just a tad bit as far as where they are as a team right now. That's the only reason why I have it as a loss for me. But one team I think that we are going to get our revenge against this season is Tampa Bay.
Ooh.
Tampa Bay, I think we are winning that Tampa Bay game.
That game broke me last year. I was so upset.
The pure fact that we get another Monday Night Football chance against them at Tampa Bay, and we have a good track record against Tampa Bay. I know this because I go to every single Giants game they play down here in Tampa Bay, and we we usually do very well against them. I think since I've been here down in Florida, we've only lost to them once, and we usually play them every single season for the past like 5-6 years now. And every time they're down here, we usually beat them. We were so close to beating them last year that, with all the changes that we made this year, to get another chance at Monday Night Football, and how pretty much the only thing that kept us from winning that game last year was Daniel Jones. The whole team was playing well.
But what I'm going to say, Kiblu, to that is, and you're right, we have had a good track record with Tampa Bay. That was with Ryan Fitzpatrick and Jameis Winston.
I get that.
With Tom Brady.
I get that, but remember, we played them last year, and
we should have beat them.
Yeah,
Daniel Jones had his worst game of the year, albeit we found out Tampa Bay had a great defense. But
right.
Here's what I'll say. I think, like, if they're not going to beat Miami, I think they can win one of those other games. Like, New Orleans without Michael Thomas, that's a winnable game.
Mm-hmm.
There's games on the schedule where I say, is 10 wins that crazy? I don't think it is.
I don't think it's crazy at all. Absolutely not.
I don't think 10 wins is crazy. I think 9. I'm going to go conservative and say 9, but I definitely don't think 10 wins is crazy.
I had 10 wins too in my prediction, so I just want to say that I'm right there with you guys. I tried to do it with as much as my brain as I could, because I usually put too much heart in it and am like too hopeful.
The blue lens.
But yeah, exactly. I'm just like, well, I think they could possibly, but I really do think they could get 10 wins. So we got a super chat here from Benjamin, and Benjamin has 2 questions for you, Chris.
You promised to
Miss Tana in 2021.
That might be 2022, Ben.
He has to push it back. I think
I'm gonna have to push that back.
Personal relationships, got to keep them personal.
Yeah, gotta keep them personal, guys.
Gotta keep them personal.
Yeah.
Where's Neo? I don't know who that is.
That's my dog. That's my dog.
Oh, is he named after
the dog doesn't appear. I'll show you a picture of Neo.
That is a dope name.
Is he named after the Matrix?
No, it was actually named after Neapolitana pizza. But Matrix does sound a lot cooler.
Matrix.
But here's
I watched that movie for school.
Here's hold on.
Matrix is awesome.
There we go. Let me pause the video. Hold on. How do I pause this thing? Oh, there we go. There's a picture of Neo.
Oh,
There's Neo. So there you go. There's
Neo.
Almost 6.
oh, my dog's 7. They're almost the same age. Dogs of Giants YouTubers.
There you go.
So thank you so much for that, Benjamin. Appreciate that. But yeah, I think 10 wins. I think it's okay. I think they could get it. I think the game versus the Dolphins really comes down to like how Tua is playing. Like I don't know, it's about midway through the season. Are you guys sold on Tua? Like, do you think Tua is the future of that franchise? What do you guys think about Tua? Because I feel like he's so unpredictable. But also Daniel Jones is pretty unpredictable too going into this year. So I think it really comes down to the quarterback play in that game. And also if Howard stays with the Dolphins, because now it seems like Howard is going to stay with the Dolphins. He wanted to trade, but now Brian Flores is saying, oh, we're going to try to work this out. What do you guys think about
I think they did, right? I saw that today. I think they worked it out.
Oh, they finally did?
Yeah, I think they did. But as far as Tua goes, I don't know. Maybe he'll prove me wrong. I don't know. I'm not impressed with Tua. Tua doesn't scare me. They've got some weapons. I'll tell you that right now. I loved Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, I
love Jalen Waddle. So I think he's the most dynamic playmaker in this draft, if I'm being honest. So I know a lot of people say Pitts. I'm a big Waddle fan, and we'll see how he does with Tua, though, throwing him the football. But Tua doesn't scare me. And with as advanced and as our defense is, he don't scare me. That's why I think we could win that game easily. I think that's a coin flip game. I think we could definitely win that game.
Yeah. As far as Miami goes, the only reason why I said I had it as a loss is one of those situations where I think that the team around Tua is pretty good to help them carry it. Because if you look at Tua last year, he didn't really do anything spectacular. And other times, he was actually literally benched for Ryan Fitzpatrick, and they were able to win the game. That really shows the progression of that team, that they're trying to position themselves to win with, in spite of their quarterback sometimes. They know that
kind of like Washington is now. Where
exactly. So I as far as Tua goes, I'm not really concerned about Tua as much as I am worried about the Miami Dolphins team in general. Like you mentioned, Jalen Waddle. Waddle is a fantastic pickup. Although Waddle prefers Mac Jones, and I prefer Mac Jones, I actually think Mac Jones is a better prospect coming out of college than Tua was. That's just my opinion. I never liked Tua coming out the draft at all. And didn't think he was a bust, but never thought he was worth the pick that he was picked in. And he proved that this season. I mean, he didn't have a terrible season. I think he was like 11-5 touchdown interception ratio, 11-5, and it was pretty good. But this season, like I said, I'm not worried about Tua as much as I am worried about the Miami Dolphins in general. I think that's just a situation where that team this season is pretty much going to win games for him rather than him winning games for them. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it really comes down to Tua. I'm not going to say like, oh, he's a bust at this point. I'm not going to call a guy a bust after a rookie season where he didn't even play every game. But I just think Dolphins fans have to be a little upset that Tua went before Herbert. One pick before. Like, I think that has to sting a little bit. Just seeing how this Dolphins team is like a win now team and how Justin Herbert could possibly take the Chargers to the playoff. That's like my hot take. But I think that's got to sting a little bit if you're a Giants fan. I mean, sorry, if you're a Dolphins fan.
Giants fan too. We almost took.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like revenge for Eli
back to
Manning.
school. He went back to school.
Yeah, man.
But I'm with you guys though. But the other really interesting storyline in that game to me is also the coaches going against each other. They're both from the Patriots. Yeah. They're both really familiar with each other. Judge and Flores, both came up with New England, and half our coaching staff came from Miami, right? Patrick Graham was the Miami defensive coordinator the year before. Shaplinski was the assistant quarterback coach the year before. He's now our quarterback coach. So there's a lot of familiarity there between those two teams. So I think that's another really interesting storyline going into that game. And another interesting storyline that I want to throw out, week 1, we're going against Pat Shurmur, guys.
Yeah.
We are week 1. We are
offensive coordinator.
Pat Shurmur revenge game?
He's gonna go. Pat Shurmur's gonna go against that quarterback he loves so dearly in Daniel Jones, and now Daniel Jones has a chance to stick it to him.
So is Pat Shurmur just gonna try to like make fun of the Giants and only draw plays that are like routes longer than 10 yards? Is that what he's gonna do? He's gonna try to like throw shade at us? I don't know. I mean, but also talking about things that scare me. Now I'm just getting nervous about the season. The Broncos wide receivers.
They got good receivers.
That's a good receiving group.
Yeah,
We also got good corners though.
That.
We got good corners though.
What, like I said, that week 1 matchup this year, I honestly think the Denver Broncos are very, very similar to the New York Giants. As far as the rest of the team goes, I know the whole quarterback situation is not the same thing as ours. Obviously, they have Teddy Bridgewater there, journeyman quarterback, and Drew Lock, who's in 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But if you look at the rest of the team, developing offensive lines, pretty young as well. Wide receiving core that has a lot of expectation this year, and they're very young as well. You look at their secondary, one of the best in the NFL. So is ours. Their linebacking core is decent. I believe we have a better linebacking core. And as far as the defensive line goes, they have a really good strength at defensive line. We have younger edge rushers. They have more experienced edge rushers. But these two teams are very, very similar as far as strengths and weaknesses. So I think it's going to be a pretty good matchup. I'm very excited to see how these two teams are going to go against each other in week 1. So the first opponent this season are pretty much they're playing themselves. So
I'm scared because I just don't feel like I can deal with another week 1 loss. Like I just don't feel like I can emotionally handle that.
I'm gonna tell you what I think is gonna happen in that game. I'm gonna tell you what I think is gonna happen in the first 2 games. So prepare as content creators. This is what I think is gonna happen at the end of 2 games.
I'll record my videos now.
I think the Giants are going to win a disgusting, sloppy, like the types of games they won the last 8 games of the year, where Daniel Jones is going to be asked to be a game manager. They're going to say, don't turn the ball over, run the ball. He's going to throw for like 160 yards. And what's going to happen, week 1, the New York Giants are going to win like 16-13 or like 20-16, or it's going to be a low-scoring defensive battle. And the Jones brigade is going to come out. Oh, Daniel Jones is not the guy. Even in a win, that is going to come out. And I'm going to tell you what, then they're going to double down on week 2, because then on short rest, we're going up against the best defense, arguably in football, in the Washington football team. So I think the New York Giants game plan to start the year is going to be very conservative, but it should be their game plan because of the teams they're going up against. And I think a lot of people coming into this year are just going to say, Jones has to throw for 35 touchdowns, or we got to move on. And he's going to get off to a slow statistical start because of the defenses he's going up against, because Barkley's going to be limited, because Galladay's not going to have any chemistry with Jones, being that he's missed a lot of training camp. So I expect the Giants, because if the Giants are smart, the first 2 weeks they have to be conservative with the defenses they're going up against. And I think you're going to get a lot of Giants fans that are going to be calling for Jones' head after just 2 games, even if we win the games, because I don't think he's going to have
that's going to stink.
Because I don't think Jones is going to have. I just don't think Jones is going to have great performances. But I think that should be the game plan the first 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. What do you guys think? I just want to talk about the preseason game really quick. What do you guys think is going to happen in this preseason game? Do you think Jones is going to get any drives at all? And for the guys who are going to, get the bulk of the playing time, who are you guys looking out for? What are you guys excited for in this game?
No injuries.
Yeah. Dear God. And
I just don't think the starters are going to play. That's the way Judge made it sound today. He said they're going to treat it as if it was a 4th preseason game. The first preseason game, if they play, it'll be limited. But what I'm really looking for, I mean, obviously you're always interested in the the roster battles, the back end of the roster guys. How does David Sills do? How does
that's what I was thinking of.
CJ Bort, like that battle, the back end wide receiver, Dante Pettis. You're always interested in that. But what I'm really interested, if they really get an opportunity in this game, is how do they use Tony? Is Tony used in punt returns? Is he used in kick returns? If the offensive line gets to play against the first unit defense, how do they look? I think that's what I'm really looking at in this game.
Yeah, as far as this game goes, all the players, pretty much the rookies as well. I'm really interested to see what all the rookies are going to do. I don't know how much playing time Kadarius Toney will get, because I don't even know if he's considered a starter on this team. So maybe he gets some time in this preseason game. I'm interested to see how the running backs play. I'm a big running back guy myself, so I love I love watching the running backs every single year. So I'm interested to see how Devontae Booker.
Maybe said my fellow running backs.
Yes, my fellow running backs. I'm interested to see how they're going to play. I really want to see Gary Brightwell out there. I want to see how Rodarius Williams plays as well. He's making a lot of noise in training camp. I hope he puts his money where his mouth is in the preseason games. Hopefully, we see him out there early. Aaron Robinson's a guy I'm really excited about as well, and just a bunch of these guys on the depth chart, that's low on the depth chart. John Ross, maybe he can make a little bit of an appearance.
That's what I'm excited to see.
Yeah,
I
Dante
love
Pettis.
speed.
Like, it's crazy. Dante Pettis and John Ross are on the bottom of our wide receiver depth chart, pretty much as far as guys that might make this roster, and they're former first and second round picks. Like, these guys were good at some point. Like, I hope they light it up in the preseason.
Yeah, and then on the defense also, I'm thinking about it. Zimenez, I think he's a guy.
Yeah,
that a lot of people haven't talked about, that he could be a surprise cut. Like, if
that's what I was gonna say. People are saying he could get a surprise cut. Like, he might be a guy who gets cut after before that injury, he was playing like decent.
Yeah.
Last year. But yeah, people are saying he might get cut.
I don't think he will, but I wouldn't be shocked, because today they cut Ryan Anderson, who was kind of competing for a similar position, obviously, with him. So that would lead me to believe that more than likely he'll probably make the team. But I think he has to show something for sure. He can't have like a horrible preseason and training camp. So he's another. And Carter, too, coming off the injury. You want to see how Lorenzo Carter plays.
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know, I have more confidence in Carter for some reason. But do you guys have anyone who you think is going to be a surprise cut?
Well, he mentioned O'Shane Zimenez, and that's something we talked about on the Young Guns podcast for a couple of weeks now, and especially in like free agency and the draft time. We were looking at where this team was as a whole, and we're like, hey, look, we're getting younger on this in the edge rushing department. We brought in Azeez Ojulari, Odenigbo in free agency, and then even Ellerson Smith as well. I made a video about him. I'm extremely excited about Ellerson Smith. So all these guys in the edge rushing group might just make their way up there, and O'Shane Zimenez is out of there. He could be a surprise cut. So we'll see what happens. Another guy that we may not find too much use for, Julian Love. I love Julian Love. Ooh. It just seems like he's getting lower and lower.
He didn't get a lot
of
snaps at the beginning last year, right? When they were at full strength. He didn't get a lot of snaps.
Exactly. And on top of that, that was without Xavier McKinney. McKinney is now back. So now if they run that 3 safety system that I love so much, Jabril, Logan, and Xavier McKinney, how many times are we going to see Julian Love on the field at all? So he may be a guy they keep around for depth, but it's like, how much playing time is he really going to get?
I'd be upset if they cut him. I'd be upset
as well. I'd be upset as well, but it could be just it could be a surprise cut.
I think he's a valuable, even though, like you said, if they stay healthy, he's not going to play, but I think he's valuable because I think it's inevitable somebody's going to get hurt. It's going to happen. It's football. Right. Mm-hmm. And he could play anywhere. He could play the slot. He could play safety. He even showed last year against the Cowboys, last game of the year, he could play on the outside. So I hope they don't cut Julian Love. I'm not saying that would be a surprise. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Zimenez was definitely one of mine. Ross got hurt a little bit today. I think he'll make the team, but he did have a little bit of an injury today. I'm not saying he's going to get cut. I wouldn't be beyond shocked, but I think he'll make the team. Overall, from all accounts, he's had a good training camp. I'm trying to think of another like surprise cut. That's tough. I mean, yeah,
it's like all these guys.
I wouldn't really be
roles,
surprised by it.
Right?
Yeah, it's like I want to say one of the wide receivers, but it's like you can't keep all the wide receivers on this roster.
So somebody's gonna get cut. Yeah, somebody's gonna get cut in the wide, and that's crazy too. Like I said, Dante Pettis is on that bubble, and I think he could be very good use on this team. And Dante Pettis and John Ross. Why? Injuries pretty much plagued their career. Their talent is undeniable. They obviously can do some things. They obviously don't have enough talent to keep them on an NFL roster if they get hurt all the time, because John Ross, although he has great talent, he has the case of the dropsies. You know what I'm saying? And so does Dante Pettis. That's both been something that these two players have struggled with in their career. So, is their talent worth enough that they can risk, this team could risk them getting hurt and them still being on the team? I don't know. But those two guys could be on their way out if these other wide receivers, especially like a guy like David Sills, right? A guy like David Sills shows up on the scene, could kick one of those guys out of there.
Yeah.
To wrap things up, because it's been an hour, so I don't want to hold you guys up. What do you guys think about the new away uniforms?
I like them.
Me too. I love
which ones?
They got new pants with the away uniforms.
Oh, really?
It used to be gray and now it's white. And I think they got like a red stripe, an added red stripe or something down the side or something like that.
Yeah, it looks really clean.
Yeah, it does. That's a question that I've gotten all the time on my YouTube channel for like since I've been on YouTube. Like, Well, do you think the Giants need to change their uniforms? Like, Giant fans want something new.
It's funny because they change their uniforms. It's such slight changes, but we're okay with it.
Yeah, I guess I'm old fashioned. Like, I'm fine with what we got. I know Giant fans want something more modern, maybe. I like the old retro helmet, the Giants helmet.
That's what I want, all the
That's
time.
what I want. I want that all the time.
The one that's in your background.
Yeah. Yep.
I love that.
But the pants I like. I think it makes it look cleaner.
Yeah.
I like the new look.
I definitely like the pants. One thing I will say is that I've been an advocate of making the color rush our official away jersey. I know people, because of tradition, people don't want it to happen like that because our away jerseys. I love my Giants. I love their jerseys, but I feel like their away jerseys need some help. And I feel like making the color rush jerseys our away jersey. I know some teams have done that. Some teams have made their color rush jerseys their either official home or official away jersey. So if they can do that, man, I would love that. But
yeah,
that's my favorite jersey, the color rush.
I have to decide, do I get another color rush jersey this year? Because I want to get a new jersey because I have like 2 Odell jerseys.
Yeah.
But do I go color rush or do I go for like the classic blue?
Who are you going for?
Probably Saquon.
You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah,
can't go wrong with that.
I like, who do you guys think, I'm just curious before we wrap this up, who do you guys think has the best jersey in the NFL? Just curious what your taste is.
Oh, okay. I don't even need to do much thinking. I love the Chargers' new uniforms.
The powder blues.
Powder blue uniforms are my favorite. No freaking doubt about it.
That's like the answer everybody gives, and I agree. It's a great uniform, but I'll try to think of something else. I'll give you the worst, I think. I hate the Bengals uniform. I'm just not a fan.
I gotta see their new uniforms. They came out with new ones, right?
I just don't like I don't know. But I'm trying to think of one that I really, really like. I don't know. I'm like a basic guy, man. Like, I see the Steelers uniform, like, that's good. The Bumblebee is the worst. The Bumblebee Steelers uniform is the worst. I take that back. But
the Packers alternates are disgustingly bad. The brown with the blue and they have like brown helmets and blue. Yeah, their alternates are garbage. And
the Bucks uniforms are. I'm just trying to think of like teams.
Yeah, the pewter is pretty good, especially in person. Because obviously I got a lot of friends here. They wear their shirts to work sometimes, their uniforms to work. I mean their jerseys. And a couple of my friends have the pewter
Bucks uniforms.
Yeah.
I like the Dolphins too. I think I like the Dolphins.
That's what my pick was.
Yeah,
I
turquoise.
love the teal. Yeah. I know a lot of people don't like it because I think it's too bright, but like the teal with the orange swoosh.
Yeah,
really nice.
I think that might be my favorite one. I like the Dolphins.
It's very Miami. It's very Miami.
Yeah.
People don't like the new Titans uniforms, but I like them. I like the new Titans.
They're solid.
I like it. I like the little sword on the side, on the shoulders. You know what I'm saying?
I wish the Giants had like a cool patch on their shoulder, but like I don't know what it would be, like a NY.
This team is like, one thing I love about this team, but it's also hurts them. I feel like we are so traditional.
Yeah.
This team is so like, once we have something, we don't want to change it. Otherwise, we're going against everything we believe. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the fact that we like, I love it, babe, by the way, the white uniforms, but the fact that we're changing the gray uniforms, the gray pants to white pants, and everybody's like, oh my God, what a change. I'm like, look at these teams just revamp their uniforms. Look at the freaking Browns. It seems like they come up with a uniform every year. Yeah, the Patriots, they have a lot of alternates too.
The Jets just changed their uniform. Like, I wasn't a fan of the Jets.
I do not like the Jets uniform.
The black one was okay. The other
black one's all right. Yeah, they look like Power Rangers.
I kind of like the old one better, to be honest.
I did. Yeah. I definitely did.
Like, the new one wasn't that cool, and the new helmets, I don't know. They're like,
yeah.
All right.
It looks like a high school uniform.
Yeah.
You want to talk about high school? What is it? Atlanta, man. Atlanta's uniforms are so bad.
Yeah.
They look like arena football jerseys. They really do.
I like the all black ones with like the black matte helmet. Oh, that'd be so cool if the Giants did that. I'm sorry, I'm like going off on
a
matte helmet, like for an alternate helmet. I feel like that'd be kind of cool.
Like once a year, you throw I could rock. I was never a fan of the red jerseys for the Giants. I know a lot of
people. Thank you, Chris. Thank you. I think they're gross.
I never liked those.
It looks like they're all quarterbacks on the practice team. They're all quarterbacks on the training camp practice.
Actually, you know what? Now that we're talking about red jerseys, I think I have my favorite. Actually, I just thought about it. I always liked, because the red made me think of it. the 49ers uniforms.
Those are classic.
Yeah, they're pretty
classic.
The golden. I think that's my favorite one. The
yeah,
golden red.
yeah.
I always like the 49ers uniforms.
That's
yeah.
a classic. That's definitely.
And that's something that they don't even. Yeah, that's another traditional thing that just always looks good. It always looks good, especially the Giants home jerseys. There's just I love the Giants. I don't want to touch
the blue home jerseys with the white pants.
I don't want to touch that at
Amazing.
all. Like that blue is, especially in certain lighting. Like when you look in like in a night game, that blue lighting, that blue uniform. Oh man, it's nice.
It is. It's classic. Don't
Yes.
if it's not broken, don't fix it.
If it broke, don't fix it. That's right.
Yeah, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So we'll just wrap up with that. I appreciate you guys coming on so much.
Thank you,
guys. Just plug your channels, plug what you want to plug, and any upcoming videos. I know Fan Fest, like all that stuff. Just let it rip.
Okay, Chris.
No, I mean, first off, Lauren, anytime you want me to come on, whenever I have people on, both you guys are more than welcome to come on. I always like working with you guys whenever I get the opportunity. Got to meet Kid Blue. Hopefully I get to meet him again if he goes to another Giant game this year. Lauren, looking forward to meeting you in a couple of days at the
Yes,
Fan Fest,
I'm so
hopefully.
excited.
And I'm going to the Eagle game this year. I'm looking forward to that. So if any one of you guys are going to that, love to meet you guys, Kid Blue again, or Lauren, and like to meet you there, and anybody in the chat. But I always have fun talking Giants. I don't have any upcoming videos off the top of my head. If there's news tomorrow, I'll have a video. But I'm just looking forward to talking Giants and starting to get a lot more content up on the channel now that we're starting to have relevant things to talk about. And I'm super excited that Saquon Barkley's back. And thank you for having me on. I appreciate
Everyone
it.
clap for Saquon being back.
Yeah. Oh,
Also
yeah.
clap for Chris.
But yeah, thank you for having me on, Lauren. It's always nice working with you, and Chris, always good to see you, man. Hopefully we see each other again, man. I will be going. If for all you guys in the Tampa area, we'll be going to the Tampa Giants game Monday night. That is definitely I'm not missing that one, and I have a lot of hope in that game. So, and I'm also the last week of season, week 18, I will be going up there to Jersey and going for that Washington game.
Yes, now I want to go.
So
I have to go to that.
I'm going to that, and so that's 2 games I'm going to. If you guys are going to it, anybody in the chat as well, let me know. That's pretty much what's going on.
I might have to go to the Falcons game, Eli's retirement.
That's the one I want to go to.
Oh
too.
yeah, but it's
gonna be nice weather probably because
it sucks to be where I'm at right now, man, because we have Fan Fest, you got Eli's retirement. Like I can't go up there. Like I really want to go to Fan Fest so bad and see all of you guys. That'll be a great opportunity to talk to everybody at the same time. But I hope you guys enjoy it, man. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it, man. You guys enjoy it for me, man. But I'll hope to see you guys at least at some point this season.
Yeah, definitely, KB. Just let me know when you're going to be in the tri-state area. Yeah. And if anyone's going to Fan Fest, I think Parking Lot G is where Talking Giants is doing their thing, where Chris is going to be.
How fitting.
You know what I'm saying? The place to be. I'll be there. Hopefully, that's before the gates open or something. Hang out because I want to meet everyone. No, I'm honestly so excited for that. That's probably I'm more excited to meet everyone, like Chris and like Justin and like Hub and like all you guys, even more than I am about the practice. To be honest.
Now I'm looking forward to getting to meet all you guys too. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
It's gonna be awesome. And yeah, I just want to thank you guys so much for coming on here. I appreciate it. This is over an hour, so I appreciate your time. I appreciate your insight, and that's it for this broadcast, guys. End it with a peace. And the broadcast,
guys.